Hi there. So I'm down Wong in my hometown of Yellowknife, NWT. Today we're going to be filming my community event video. We're going to be asking Yellowknifers what they think about devolution and resource revenue sharing. For those of you who haven't watched my video, devolution and resource revenue sharing refer to the transfer of authority over renewable and non-renewable resources so that the NWT and the Northern Territories can develop our economy on our own terms, as well as have the capacity to address environmental issues and the social problems plaguing the North. After we canvass the community and people on the street, we'll visit the Deputy Premier of the NWT. So come along. Do you think it's important that the Northwest Territories gets control over its natural resources?
Yeah, I definitely do. It's about time too. Been waiting long enough. That's about all I can say.
NWT gets control over its natural resources?
Absolutely. They're NWT's resources. We should have control over what happens with them and who they're sold to, and we should receive the benefits of that. They're our resources.
It's better to have control locally, like for the residents, than for it to be like a bigger entity like the federal government having control over it.
Thank you very much.
I think it's really important. Like, you look at Alberta and how they're profiting from everything that's going on there, and you see the North. And I'm pretty sure a while back, like the North, everyone was talking about how the North is supposed to boom, the diamond industry and everything. And I don't feel like we're profiting at all. And I feel like it's really stagnant up here. So.
Great. Thanks a lot.
No problem.
Just because so much, only 10% of our revenue comes back to the territories. The rest goes to Ottawa and never returns. All the major corporations pay money to Ottawa, and we only get a small percentage back. But unfortunately, until we get everybody to agree with land claims and stuff, we don't know where the money or where's it's going to. So,
Thank you very much.
I think it's absolutely and vitally important for the Northwest Territories to get control over its natural resources. You can't have self-government if you have decision-making located thousands of miles away. That type of colonial mentality has got to move away. And we're entering an age now where everybody talks about community self-reliance, people being independent versus dependent or codependent. That's worse. And you have a situation right now where we're codependent on the federal government for giving us our resources. If the federal government wants to truly, truly allow a federation like Canada, and especially the North, to develop, then they must turn over, not province-like powers, but full provinceship to the Northwest Territories. The Dene and the Métis have worked long and hard, as well as the Inuvialuit, to advance the Northwest Territories within a spirit of federal cooperation. And I believe that it's long overdue. So I can't say enough how important it is. If we want to advance to the future, we have to have control over our resources. We cannot go begging cap in hand to Ottawa asking Harper or whoever the heck is there for our own money. Norman Wells oil field is one of the oldest producing oil fields in North America. And yet every year, hundreds of millions or millions of dollars in royalty flows out of here. It should be flowing directly to Yellowknife so that it can be redistributed to our regions who badly need it. So get it and do it quick.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, it's important for the North to have control over what they have available to them. The federal government gets so much money out of the resources up here already, and it's not coming back into the territory. And, there needs to be more money coming in here to help reduce the cost of living, help make, more jobs for Northerners, more money available to make what we have here better. So yeah, definitely, I think so.
Well, I would say, I think the real question is what's the fine print on the deal? If there is, does that come with ownership of the land, ownership of the natural resources, along with all the resources or the dollars flowing from those resources? Is that the full deal, or is it a partial deal, or how would you describe it?
It would be a full deal, Doug, similar to a province like Alberta or BC.
Yeah, and I really doubt if we'd get province-like status anytime soon, simply because of the Aboriginal governments in terms of who have negotiated the MVRMA, that is the Mackenzie Valley Resource Management Act. So I think it's very, very doubtful that they would accept full province-like power. So I think what we'd end up is a deal similar to the Yukon, and I'm not familiar with that deal. And essentially, you know, I would say my response is that I would have to look at it and view it from the perspective of how would it enhance or take away from environmental protection. That's, to my mind, is the fundamental issue. If it enhanced it in some way, I would say I would consider it. If it didn't enhance it, I would not be in support of it.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's important to for the North to have autonomy over itself so that it can develop. I don't know. I do think it's important though, but I don't know why.
Good. Thank you.
I think you're going to have a lot of good luck because we've been doing it now. I've been with the government for almost 20 years, and since I've started working with the government, it's been on the agenda, and it's never gone through yet. So there's a lot of luck involved in this one.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So we just finished canvassing Yellowknifers for their insights and comments. We're right in front of the Legislative Assembly of the Government of the Northwest Territories. I'm about to meet with the Deputy Premier to ask what he thinks about granting Northerners control over their natural resources, and more importantly, why this is in the national interest of Canadians for economic and social reasons. As you can see right now, it's 2:30 and it's almost getting dark here in Yellowknife. It's about -35, which is the same chilly temperature as the federal government's attitude towards giving Northerners control over northern resources. See you inside. Here right now with the Deputy Premier of the Government of the Northwest Territories, the Honourable Michael Miltenburger, who is also the Minister of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources and the Ministry of Finance. So, Michael, why is it important that the NWT get control over its natural resources? Why do we need devolution and revenue resource sharing so Northerners can make important decisions over development, over northern resources?
Well, I think you've pretty well answered the question. That Northerners have evolved long enough and far enough that we're ready to take over that responsibility for water, for the pace of development, for control of the land, control of the water. And we're a huge territory when you look at the three territories, but the Northwest Territories in particular. And it's a right that all Canadians enjoy or want to enjoy and need to enjoy if they're going to have self-government, and we're ready for that.
Why is it in Canada's national interests, economically and socially, that devolution and resource revenue sharing happen?
There's a benefit to Canada having the people that live in the Northwest Territories be able to make the right decisions when it comes to land and resources. There's enormous things happening in the north. There's tremendous natural wealth, both in its intact ecosystems as well as the diamonds, oil, gold. There's climate change happening. We are soon going to have an open Northwest Passage and a major new shipping route across our northern border. There's vast interest by the rest of the world in exploring and exploiting the Arctic for its gas and other resources. We have to be ready. We have to have a presence there. And if we can make the decisions and if we can support the communities that are on the ground in the Southern Territories all the way up to Ulahuktuk and Paulatuck and Sax Harbor, then there will be no doubt in anybody's mind that the Northwest Territories and the Northwest Passage is part of the Canadian fabric.
Okay. And why do you think I'll make Canada's next great Prime Minister?
Because you're asking all these right questions, and I know you're very interested. You ran for territorial politics when you were still a high school student. You worked for Environment and Natural Resources as a summer student, and I know you're very prolific in putting forth your opinions. And I think you have all the right stuff to keep growing to be the next great Prime Minister.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.